Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, based on the time you are accessing this material. Welcome to Information and Communication Technology for J.H.S. 2. If you are accessing this video on YouTube, this is a course taught on coolchat.com. So you can visit coolchat.com to access the course content. If you are on coolchat.com, to access the material, either if it's among the courses, see the material on the front page. If it is not, then you can access it by going to courses, then under courses. So once you click on the J.H.S courses, then you can see ICT for J.H.S 2. Among the popular courses, then you can see it over here. So let's get started. So J.H.S courses. Then ICT J.H.S 2. Then this is week 1. So I'll introduce myself. So the subsequent weeks, then I'm not going to introduce myself. So my name is Godwin Ashon, and I'm the one to take you through the ICT for J.H.S 2. Now, this course is for all J.H.S 2 students. You don't need any prerequisites for the course. Whereas you are in J.H.S 2, you are using the J.H.S 2 syllabus to teach. Of course, since you are in J.H.S 2 means that you've already taken the courses for J.H.S 1, so you don't need any prerequisite for this course. Then the same course objective for the J.H.S 1, you should be able to acquire proficiency in the use of ICT tools. You should be able to use ICT as a tool for learning other subjects. Then by the end of your ICT courses in the J.H.S, you should be able to acquire some ICT knowledge, and you should be able to at least work as a secretarial. You can do secretarial works like typing. You should be able to access email. You should be able to log into email. You should be able to do documentation and stuff. Okay, so by the end of the 3-year course of your junior high school of your ICT, you should be able to acquire enough skills that can help you to get an ICT job. So let's get started. So what are we going to study in week 1? So in week 1, we identify the different types of basic storage devices. So we look at some of the basic storage devices. Then we explain the use of basic storage devices. Then we state the uses of storage devices. Then we also identify the importance of storage devices and explain why information should be stored. Why information should be stored. We will also consider that. So to access the content, you just click on the graduation cap. So once you click on it, the end of the course will show. Now I want to zoom it so that the text can be more vivid. You can see the text clearly. So I'm going to zoom. Okay. So now it is good. Okay. So storage keeps data, information, and instruction for use in the future. So the reason why we store is that in the future, if you want this data, you should or information, you should be able to access them. That's why we store information. So anytime you want them, you can just go and access them. And all computers use storage to keep the software that makes the hardware work. So all computers will need storage to keep the software that makes the hardware work. For example, with the operating system, whenever you boot the computer, there is a software which has been stored on the hard drive. So this is where the operating system is stored. So once you boot the hard drive, the software for the operating system is loaded, which enable you to see the Windows screen and enter your password and all those things. So if there is no storage device, this software will not be able to store to do all those tasks. Okay, so you need those storage devices to store the softwares and other information as well. When a user saves information or data to a storage medium, he or she is storing a file. So if you save information or data to a storage medium, it's said you are storing a file, and this is what is referred to as writing. So you are writing to the you are writing. Okay. Now, if you open the stored file or stored data or stored information, we call it reading. Okay, to put on the storage device is called writing. To access it, it is called reading. Now, data storage is very important of the information processing cycle. Now, in J.H.S. 1, we learned about the information processing cycle. We said there are four processing cycle. One is input, where we have the input devices which fill the computer with input data. Then we have the processing of the information which is done by the CPU. Then we have the output, which is displayed by the output devices like the monitor, the printer, the projector, and the rest. Then the fourth is the storage device which store the information. Okay, so we've done all in the previous academic year. We've done some of this, and we also briefly talk about the storage devices. I mean, saw hard drive and a pen drive, but we are going to go deeper into the storage device aspects of what we did in last academic year. So storage devices are the computer hardware used for saving, carrying, and pulling out data. Okay, so the hardware means the physical aspect of your computer device, whether the computer itself or an external device you connect to the computer. So device is physical. It's what we call the hardware. Okay, so storage devices are the computer hardware used for saving. So any hardware you save files into it, you carry file with it, and you also retrieve file from it. It's what we call the storage device. So it keeps and retains information for short or long term. So certain information can be stored for many years. Some also for just some few minutes, hours, months, years, or so. Okay. So based on what you want to store on the storage device. So it can be a device inside or outside a computer or a server. Okay. So we have the devices which are inside a computer, like the hard disk. Okay, it's inside the computer. Then we have the pen drive, which you may already know because you may have used it to carry movies and the rest. So that one is outside the computer. Then we also have the floppy disk, which we also talk about it, and the rest. So storage devices are also known as secondary storage or external storage. It allows information to be saved or stored permanently after the computer has been turned off. So storage devices allows information to be saved permanently after the computer has been turned off. So there are other storage devices or that once the computer is turned off, they lose their data. Okay, so for them, for example, the RAM. For the RAM, it temporarily stores information. So once the computer shut down, those informations are lost because uh, normally information is loaded to the RAM once the machine is in operation. So any software you open, it is being stored on the RAM so that you can be having access to it. So once you shut down the computer, everything disappear. Okay, but for storage devices, the storage is permanent, so you can always have access to them. So far as you haven't deleted those files, you will still be on it, or unless maybe that device is corrupted. Other than that, you always be having your files or your data or your information intact. There are uses of storage devices. So storage devices are used to read or store information. So like you said, you can use it to store information. Now, they are also used to store information for future use. So we can use it for to store information the for future use. So anytime you want to have access to those information, the storage device they are already there, so you can have access to them. And they are also used to back up information in case of data or information loss. So certain information you may already have it on your computer, but you want to temporarily store it somewhere, which we call it a backup. So backup is transferring files onto a storage device and it's a copy. So you have original, but you are keeping a copy so that when the original is destroyed or corrupted, then you can have the one you can rely on. Okay, so it's used to back up information in case of data or information loss. Then used to transfer data from one location to another. So if you have two computers and you want to transfer an information from one computer to the other, you can use a storage device. So you just transfer from the computer to the storage device. Then you transfer from the storage device to the other computer. So it's also used to transfer data from one location to another. It's used to back up data, and it's also used to store information for the future. It's also used to read or store information. Okay. Then storage medium. What is a storage medium? So a medium, the singular one is medium and the plural is media. The physical materials on which data, information, and instructions are kept. So the physical material where we keep the data is what we call the storage medium. So the device is the actual physical device, but the material where the information is kept is what we call the storage medium. So types and uses of basic storage devices. So in this section, we are going to look at certain storage devices types and the use of them. So we have the hard disk drive. Then we talk about the CD-ROM and DVD-ROM. We will also talk about the memory card. We will talk about the floppy disks. We will talk about pen or flash drives. Then for the zip file drive, we are not going to talk about it because they are obsolete. They are no longer in use. Even the floppy disk, in many devices no longer use the floppy disk. But we'll talk briefly about the floppy disk. Okay, the zip drive look similar to the floppy disk, but there are differences. Both of them are no longer being used. So we are going to talk about the hard disk, the CD-ROM, the memory card, and the little floppy disk and the pen drive. Okay, so let's get started. Hard disk drive. So the hard disk, this drive is in the computer. Okay, so every computer has the hard disk because we have the operating system stored on the hard disk. So when you boot the computer, if you are not doing installation of new operating system, by default, if you haven't changed the setting to boot from somewhere else, by default, the operating system is loaded on the hard disk. So when the computer boots, it fetches the operating system from the hard disk. So if you have the Windows operating system on your computer, this is saved on your hard disk. So when the computer starts, the Windows operating system will be loaded from the hard disk. Then other softwares are also installed on the hard disk. Okay, so this is basically the main permanent storage device for the computer, and it is inside the computer. Some other storage devices are outside the computer, but the uh, hard disk is inside the computer. So it has the aluminum or glass coated surface in the disk, which is called the platter. Okay, so this side is called the platter, the one that looks like the disc, the circular one is called the platter. Okay, where we write our data into it. Then we have the read or write head. So this head where it's used to either read or write our data is called the read or write head. So this one we are seeing over here, that's the name of it. Then we have the actuator arm. Then we have the spindle. Then we have the actuator. Okay, but the main part is this one, the read or write part, the read or write head, then the platter. These are the main parts that you need to know at your level. Okay, so when you open the hard drive, this is what you see. Now there is a cover. This thing has been covered, but for clarity, the cover has been removed so that you can see what is inside. Okay, but in the actual circumstances, as you can see, there are screws here. So this ones have been covered to protect the discs, the hard disk. Okay, so that it will not get corrupted or damaged. Okay, so the hard disk drive is the main permanent non-volatile storage device capable of remembering vast amounts of data. Now, we have volatile and non-volatile. So, non-volatile ones are the ones that when the computer shuts down or the electric power, the power of the computer is turned off, they don't lose the storage, the data which is being stored over there. So those ones are called non-volatile. For the volatile storage devices, they lose the information which is stored there when there is no power supplied to the computer. So the hard disk is a non-volatile storage device, which means that when the power is even switched off, whatever information is stored on the hard disk will still be there. Okay. It stores vital information such as the operating system, like I've already said. It also has the installed application softwares and files, the movies that you have. It also has, it's also on the index. It has a rectangular metallic case that protects its content from damage. So the rectangular case protects its content from damage. So like I told you, the inside, this is covered, but because of clarity, it has been removed so that you can see what is inside. But it has been covered by the rectangular metallic case. So inside the rectangular metallic case are flat rigid discs made up of aluminum or glass and coated with magnetic iron peroxide particles called the platters that hold data in a magnetic form. Okay, so the platters hold data in a magnetic form. Then we have the electromagnets in the read or write head. So this read and write head, what it does is that it charges the disk, either gives it a charge or no charge. So either a positive or negative charge. So for a positive charge, we have a binary 0. For negative charge, we have 0. Okay, so this is how data is stored. So like we said in your information processing. When we were in J.H.S. 1, the information processing week course, they said the computer uh, language is what we call the machine language. The computer understands zeros and ones, which we refer to as the binary codes. Okay, so this electromagnet, which read or write information, it charges the surface of the disk. So it either gives a positive or negative charge. So if it gives it a positive charge, it means it's writing 1. If it gives it a negative, it's writing 0. So we'll have a binary data on the hard disk, which the machine will be able to read later and know what kind of information is on the disk. So that's how we write information to the disk. So it introduces charges to write either 1 or 0. So when it's positive charge, it's 1. If it's 0, it means it is negatively charged. So once it's raised, then you can convert it to a data, which you can have it on our storage device. Then the read or write head is then capable of detecting the magnetic charges. So the read or write detects the magnetic charges on the disk surface, and this is how data is read. So it detects if it's the negative and the positive, then it reads the binary figure there, which we can convert it and know what is information is over there on the disk. Okay, then the hard disk has a larger capacity. Some has terabytes. Also, some also have 500 gigabytes and the rest. So it is the preferred permanent storage device to other storage devices. Now the next is the floppy disk. Now, as you can see, if you have a laptop, you may not see the floppy disk drive or slot over there because many computers no longer use this floppy disk. So this is also used to save information on it. So back in the days, you just slot it in your computer, then you can just write on it. Just like you see the pen drive on your computer, once you slot it, you see that drive, so you can put content into it. So the floppy disk, also known as a diskette, is a storage device that allows computer users to store and retrieve data or information on the floppy diskette. So in the 1970s is when the floppy disk was or came into existence, but it is an obsolete. It is no longer in use. So in 1993, uh, the machines were released without the floppy disk, so they start to die off. That's when the floppy disk fade out of the system. So the floppy disk is a rectangular plastic device that contains a flat circular piece of flexible plastic that stores data in a magnetic form. So as you can see, the circular piece where the data is being stored. So this piece is where the data is being stored. Okay. So like we have the hard disk where we store data. This part also is where the data is being stored, the circular part. So it has it can hold maximum of 1.4 megabytes of information. So the information it holds is very, very small. So now one movie nowadays, the minimum of 1 hour movie is more than 500 megabytes. So you can see that back in the days, a movie cannot be even be stored on the floppy disk because the capacity is very less. So it's just a few information you can store on the floppy disk. Okay. Now there are two types of floppy disk. We have the 3.5 inches and the 5.5 floppy disk. So you have the 3.5 and 5.5 floppy disk, and they can hold 1.44 megabytes of information. So the information they hold is very less. Then the popular storage device, which I believe you know because many of you use it to store movies, is the pen drive. So as you can see, we have pen drive we have the USB. We have the USB over here. This connects to the USB port of the computer. So, and by the side of the computer, if you are using a laptop, the side of it, you see a slot. That slot where you'll be inserting this pen drive is what we call the USB port. Okay, so you look for the USB port, you insert it into it, then you can store your information in it. So once you connect to it, then the drive will be synced, so you can put your data into it. Okay, so that's the pen drive. So we'll talk briefly about it. So the pen drive, also known as the flash drive or USB stick, is a portable storage device that has a built-in connector that plugs into the USB port. Okay, so like I explained, in the side of your computer, if you're using laptop, for desktop computers, somewhere in front of the system unit, you may see the USB ports. So there is where you slot in your USB stick or your pen drive. So the meaning of USB is Universal Serial Bus. USB, Universal Serial Bus. So the U stands for universal, and the S stands for serial, and the B stands for bus. Okay, so that's the port on the computer where you insert your pen drive or USB flash. So pen drive is used to store data and transfer files from one computer to another. Now it usually consists of a small printed circuit board in a plastic or metal casing. Okay, so there is a circuit board on the pen drive, but it's being protected with the case so you don't see it. So only the USB part is being showed on the pen drive for you to be able to insert into your USB port. So only the USB connector emerges from the plastic or metallic protective case. Okay. Then USB refers to the USB connection that allows users to plug the device into the USB port of the computer. So the USB part you are seeing here is what enables us to insert into the USB port of the computer. So this part that you are seeing is what enables us to insert into the computer. Then we have the CD-ROM and the DVD-ROM. So still these storage devices are being used as music and song and videos and movies are being still people have it on the CDs and the DVDs. Okay, so on the computer we have the DVD or CD drive. Okay, so on the computer there is a button you press if you want to eject the CD. So if you want to eject, you just press here. Once you insert a CD, then you just push this side and it goes inside. Okay, so this is the CD drive or CD-ROM. Okay, DVD drive, or so we have the container of it, which is the drive, and we can put our CD inside. Okay, or DVD inside. So any of them, it's mixed. So once we put it inside, we can store our information in it. CD-ROM. So what is the meaning of CD? Compact disc. The C is for compact. The disc, the D is for disc. And the ROM is read-only memory. Read-only memory. So back in those days, you can only read what is on the CD. But now, it is also the mean that you can as well write to it. But in those times, you can only read those storage device. So we have compact disc read-only memory. So C stands for C stands for compact, D stands for disk, R stand for read, O stand for only, the M stand for memory. So we have the CD-ROM. So it's polycarbonate with one or more metal layers capable of storing digital information. Okay, the most prevalent types of compact discs are those used by the music industry to store digital recordings, and CD-ROMs used to store computer data. Okay, so the most common ones which are being used are the music industry. So the music industry are still selling music on the CDs, even though nowadays you can just download it on the internet or you can have it on the iTunes and the rest. So, but some music industries still sell their music on the CDs. Now we also have some softwares, installable softwares that also come with the on the CD. So if you are using an application, then you may also need to insert that the CD to do the installation. So for example, some operating system come with the CD, so you need to insert the CD to do the installation. And some softwares also, especially if you are using a driver and you want to connect a particular printer and you are asked to install a driver. Some drivers also come on the CD where you insert your CD and do the installation. Okay, so the CDs are still being used to by the music industry and also for uh, some application softwares are also stored on this for you to be able to install them on the computer. So both of these type of compact discs are read only. So that's why it is called read only memory, which means that once the data has been recorded onto them, they can only be read or played. So once you record on them, you can only read them or play them. The CD-ROM uses later technology to read or write information. Then we also have the DVD. D stand for digital, V stand for versatile, then D stand for disc. And you have the read only memory. So you have the CD and the DVD. So CD compact disc, then DV is digital versatile. Okay, but the last days are moved discs. Then the ROM is the same. So the only difference between the CDs and the DVDs is that we have the CD being compact disc and the DVD being digital versatile. Okay. Then it's also read only digital versatile disc. So it's commonly used for storing large software applications. It is similar to compact disc read only memory, but has a larger capacity. So the DVDs have larger capacities than the CDs. A DVD-ROM stores around 4.38 gigabytes of data, and the CD usually stores 615 megabytes of data. So DVDs are far larger in capacity than the CDs. DVD-ROM also uses laser technology and is used to distribute larger files like software, music, and videos. Okay, so larger files. Nowadays, movies are in 1 gig and the rest. So if DVDs, that's normally they store those information on. So DVD-ROM permanently stores data files which cannot be changed, written over, or erased. So you can't change them, you can't write them, you can't erase them. So that's why it's called read-only memory. So you can only read them or play them. Now today, almost all computers come along with CD-RW. So with the CD-RW, this one they both read and write. So that's the difference. So that one you can read and write to it. Okay. So DVD-WR, read and write. So that can both read and write information to the CDs and DVDs. So with this one, you can write to it, but for the read only memory, you can only read. You can't do anything. You can't do any change to what is on it. But with the RW, you can write or read you can both read or write them. So CD RW or DVD RW, you can both read and write information on that storage device. So most computer systems have a DVD ROM drive where you slot in your compact disc or DVD to read or access the information on them. So like I explained, so we have the drive here, the CD drive or the DVD drive over here. So once you press this one, this one will come out. It will be ejected. So we call it ejection. So the CD or the DVD will be ejected. So you can just put on your CD or your DVD on it. So once you are done, once you place it there, then you also push it a little bit and it goes inside. So once it's inside, you can see the content of it on your computer. Your computer. Okay, so that's it for. Then we have the memory card. We have the memory card. So the memory card is similar to our flash drive. So as you can see, we have the memory card. Okay, so this memory card is similar to the ones we use on the phone. Okay, so most phones also have this SD card, which is being used to store additional information other than the storage device that the phone came with. Okay, so we have the memory card also in addition to the storage space of the phone. The memory card or flash card is an electronic storage device that is used for storing media and data files. It provides a permanent and non-volatile medium to store data and files from the attached device. Okay, so like I've explained what the volatile and non-volatile is. So the non-volatile means that once you store the data on it, it doesn't get wipe out or disappear once there is no power. So for non-volatile, all the data will be on it, whether there is power or whether there is no power. It's permanent storage, so the data will be on it. So memory cards are commonly used in small portable devices such as cameras. So we have the memory cards, we have the cameras for slotting the memory card. So the pictures we take will be stored on the memory cards. Then we also have the laptop computers. So the laptop computers also have the memory card readers. So they have a slot where you can insert in your memory card. Then some MP3 also players also have a memory card. You can insert in a memory card. So for us, perhaps you put a music on the memory card. So once you insert it, the MP3 player can play the music from it. Then we also have the video game consoles and the phones also have the memory card. So a memory card is mainly used as a primary and portable flash memory in mobile phones, cameras, and other portable and handheld devices. So like we've explained. So in many phones, they have a memory cards. So some phones normally you have to buy the memory card and add it to your actual phone storage. So cameras too, they have the memory card. So when you slot it inside, then when you take the pictures are stored on the memory card. So if you want to transfer it to the computer, you can just get the memory card and slot it into your computer. Or once you connect your digital camera to your computer, you can see the contents of the camera, which is the SD card or the memory card that you are seeing on the camera. So you can have access to those files. Now, this you also need to take note. Some memory cards have a switch where you can switch it to write protect. So write protect means you cannot write to it. So when you are getting this error, memory card is write protected, which means you are not being allowed to write to the memory card. You should look for the switch on that memory card. So you just turn it off. Okay. So you either lock it or unlock it. So remember this concept. Other than that, you may not be able to use your memory card to write or or store information to it. So remember, if you are getting this error, memory card is write protected, then you should look for the switch button and just turn it off or on based on what you want to do. If you want to unlock it, just turn it off. If you want to lock it, then just press it down and it locks. Okay. Then some of the most popular forms of memory cards, we have the secure digital, which is the SD card. Then we have the compact flash. Then we have the smart media. We have the memory stick. Then we have the multimedia card, and so on. Then the table below compares the basic storage devices. So all the storage devices we've considered so far. So the table below compares. So we have the device, the method, capacity, then durability, then uses. So the floppy disk. So the floppy disk uses the magnetic option and it has a capacity of 1.4 megabyte, like you said, and durability is low because it can be damaged. Then the floppy disk was used to distribute software or data backup and transferring data. Then we have the CD-ROM, which is the method it's used to store information is optical. Then it has 4.7 gigabytes space. Then the durability is high, so you can have a CD-ROM last for a longer time. Then you have the pen drive, and the method of it uses the solid state. Then it can store 512 gigabytes either below or up to that stage. Then the durability is higher because you can use a pen drive as for many years as you wish. So I have a pen drive that I bought it and I'm using it over 3 years now. And I know many other pen drives last longer than that. Okay. So the pen drive is also used to transfer data and store information. Okay, then a CD also for distributing software, music and videos. Then we have the memory card. It also uses the solid state type. And it's also up to 500 megabytes, which is also higher, and transferring data and storing information, just like the pen drive. Then we have the hard disk. The hard disk uses the magnetic method. Then you can have up to 4 terabytes of data. Then that's higher, the durability is higher, then you use it to store information. So that's basically the comparison among the storage devices. Then storing information. So storage devices are non-volatile, like I've told you, meaning information is permanently stored, even if there is no electrical supply to the computer. So even if there is no electrical supply to the computer, we still have that data over there. The volatile memory is used to store computer programs and data that CPU needs in the real time and is erased once computer is switched off. So like I explained earlier on, the difference between a volatile memory and non-volatile memory. So for non-volatile memory, when there is a no power supply to the computer, we still have the data. But for the volatile memory, when there is no supply of electricity or power to the computer, the data is erased. Okay. Then, whereas non-volatile memory is static and remains in the computer, even if the computer is switched off. So we have the root-only memory, and the hard disks are non-volatile memory. Then we have the RAM to be the volatile memory. Then most storage devices are durable, and information stored on them can be used several times and over a long period of time. Okay, so like I've told you, you can use a pen drive for over many years. First, you protect the pen drive well, and you don't drop it and stuff. So once you protect the pen drive, it can last for a very long time. Then backing data up. So backing data backup. So making data backup. So why do we back up a data? Now the original data can be corrupted. So you may have a computer which will be corrupted by a virus. so everything on it can be corrupt. So if you don't have a backup, then you can't do anything. So you need to back up your data, especially important files that if you lose them, it's going to be headache for you. You need to back them up on the storage devices. Okay. So backing up is just a simple of transferring files or folder. So you have a file, this is a representation of a file and a folder. So you transfer it from the computer to your backup storage device. Okay, so this could be an external drive. Okay, so you just transfer what you have on the computer onto that external drive. So now you have two copies. So you have one on the computer and one on the external drive. So if the original one on the computer is corrupted, then you have one you can go back to and use. Okay, so if, for example, if you are doing your final year thesis and you don't have a backup of your documentation of your thesis, what happens if your hard drive crash? Then you lose everything. Okay, so that's why you need to back up your data. So in that case, you see, you'll need to start everything. You'll need to start all over again. That will be a lot of headache if you are having your final year project, and especially if you are close to the deadline of submission, your hard drive crash, then it's going to be headache. But if you've been backing it up, so anytime an update, you keep a copy on your external drive. Anytime you do an update, you keep a copy on your external drive. In that case, if something happens to the original, like the hard drive crash or a virus attack the machine, you have one you can rely on, which is stored on your external drive as your backup. Okay, so it is necessary to back up your data or copying and transferring files and folders to another location or device. So that's how the definition of a backup or the meaning of a backup. So you transfer files or folders from one location to the other. So it's just a copy of it. So the original one is there. So it's just a copy of them. So because the original data can be corrupted, stolen, or modified. Okay. To avoid any inconvenience of losing data or information, you can make many backups so that you can turn to them when the need arises. Okay. So you can even make as many backups so that when a number of them is corrupted, you still have one that you can rely on. Okay. So the probability, if you have three backups, the probability that all the backups will all be corrupted at the same time is less. And for data storage security protection, normally it's not advisable to store all your backup data at one place. For example, if you have three external drives which you use to back up an important information, it's not advisable to have all those backup drives at one place, because if there is a fire outbreak, all the data can be lost. So you can put those data at different places so that you have the assurance that if one is destroyed, you have another one somewhere else. Okay. Now transfer data and information. So if you are transferring data from one computer to the other, you can use the network cable. So you connect this cable to the other one, then you do the network configuration so that there will be like the computer can see the other computer content. Okay, so you just connect this one to to the computer, then the other end to the other computer. Then once you configure the network, the configuration is beyond your level, so we are not going to talk about it. But the idea is that you can use a network cable to connect two computers and share files or transfer files from one computer to the other. So that's basically what you need to do. So when you're advanced in IT, then you can know how this is done. But you don't have to confuse you with so many information. The basic ones is enough. So as you further your education, then you update the knowledge. Okay. So you can use a data cable to transfer data or files from one computer to the other. you can as well use a storage device to transfer it. So you first of all transfer from the computer to the storage device, then you connect that storage device to the computer as well. Then you also transfer from the storage device to the computer. So if this is one computer, then it's like the storage devices between them. So you have one computer here, storage device here, another computer here. So if you are transferring from here to here, you transfer this one to the storage device, then you transfer from the storage device to the other computer as well. But if you are using a data cable, you just connect the two computers, you just connect them by using the data cable. So this one goes into the other computer, this one also goes to the other computer. Then you can transfer the files to them. Now, once you connect an external storage device, you are supposed to see the content of it so you can transfer files to it. So, if you connect an external storage device, you see that device has a folder. Okay, I believe you've thought about folders in your previous courses. So, but I'm going to demonstrate this to you. So now, before I connect my external device, I'm going to show you my drive. So that when I connect, then you see if I have another drive in addition to my normal drive, then I can know that that is the drive for the device, the storage device I connected. So all the storage devices, once you connect it, whether the SD card, whether the DVD, whether the CDs, once you connect them, you see them under devices connected. Okay, so over here. Okay, so these are my drives. So I have my C drive, I have my D drive, I have my E drive, I have my F drive. So at the moment, I haven't inserted any external drive or storage device here. So once I insert my storage device, so which I'm inserting now, so once you insert, most of you even hear a sound by the computer that an external drive has been inserted. Or sometimes too, you get the information somewhere there that is installing. So it gives you the information. Sometimes it says there is a problem but you need to fix. Or any information that comes to that you've inserted an external drive. So once you insert, you can see the new one over here. So once you insert it, once you click on it, then you can if you want to transfer a file from the computer, you move to where the file is located on the computer. Then you just double click on your storage device. Then you can transfer the file to it. So you just copy, then you double click on your storage device, then you can paste on the storage device. So when you double click, you just open the folder. So once you double click, it opens the folder. So on your practicals that you are supposed for this week, so you identify the part of the hard drive. So now this part is what I have demonstrated. So you also do it. So you insert the CD or DVD or a pen drive, which I have done. Then you locate that folder. So once you locate the storage device, then you copy files and folders to your inserted storage device. Okay, so you just copy files to it. Okay, so if let's say for example, if I want to copy a, a file here, so maybe I want to copy this movie Iron Man, so I can copy it. So once you select it, you right click, then you click on copy. So once you click on copy, it copies it. So Now, the drives can also be seen at this side. So you can also see the drives over here. Okay, now before we connected, we have our C drive, we have our D drive, we have our E drive, and we have our F drive. So this was the inserted one. So once we click, to show you the content of it. So once it shows you the content, you can just right click any empty space in that drive. So you can right click on any empty space in that drive, then you click on paste. So once you click on paste, the file or the folder you copied will be pasted into your storage device. So it's the same thing. If I want to copy this file from here, which is the storage device, I'll just right click. I select the file by clicking on it, and I click on copy. Okay, then I can go to wherever I want to paste it. So if I want to paste it here, or if I want to paste it here, wherever I want, then I can, if I want to paste it on desktop, I can as well go desktop. Then I just right click on any space and just click on paste. So once I paste, it will be pasted to desktop. Okay, as you can see, it's on desktop now. Okay. So thank you very much for taking the course, and I believe you've enjoyed yourself. So try to do the practicals, okay? So you identify all the storage devices. So you should be able to know what all those storage devices are. Then we also have some few days to the final year project submission deadline. Ajay's hard drive crashed and lost his final year project documentation. His graduation was delayed as he has to start all over again. What advice would you have given Ajay in order for the incident not to occur again? Okay, so you also share your can answer to yourself the advice which I think I've discussed about it already. So you can also as well answer it. Okay. So thank you very much. And if since this is the first week, if you have a question, you can just log in. So where it says log in to leave a comment or sign up. So if you don't have an account, you just sign up. If you have an account, you just log in. Now you can, once you've done that, you can leave a comment. Then I will be prompted, so I can give log in and as well give you a reply. Now, if you want to chat with me, go to the home page. If you go to the home page of the course, there is chat with an instructor. So when you click on the home page, okay. So when you click on the home over here, when you click on the home, it goes to the home page of the course. So below and the instructor's profile, there is chat with an instructor. If you haven't logged in, it will tell you to log in to chat with the instructor. So you log in or you create an account so that you can send me a message. Okay. So yeah, if you want to chat with me, you just create an account or you log in and chat with me. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that anytime we upload new tutorial videos, you'll be able to get a notification and have access to them as soon as possible. But thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.